kimchi fried rice. We're gonna get started, just go through the ingredients, and then I'll show you what to do first. First, let's go over our ingredients. We have a little piece of ginger. It's going to need to be peeled. I've already peeled this piece of carrot. I like carrot in mine. I have some pork. These are lean cut pork chops. I would prefer more fat in them for fried rice, but I couldn't find belly pork. Belly pork would be ideal, but this will do. Garlic. If you don't like very much garlic, you can just add 1 clove or none at all. Green onions. I'm going to add a potato. The potato needs to be cooked. Beans would also need to be pre-cooked. Then we have our eggs and our gim. If you have the larger sheets, they'll do just fine. I'm going to add sesame seeds, fish sauce. Obviously we need the kimchi. And then I'm going to throw in some things that I just have laying around, some mushrooms and some greens, and I have some leftover anchovies, fried anchovies. And of course then we're going to need rice. First we need to prepare our vegetables. Ginger is going to be the first thing we're going to add. If you have a vegetable peeler, it's a nice way to peel your ginger. If you don't, you can simply take the ginger, break off a little piece that you want, and then carefully file down the stuff on the sides, making like a little block of ginger. Now, ginger has a nice flavor, but it doesn't really taste very good. It's a really fibrous piece of junk. So ideally, you either want to cut it up into really, really small pieces so that you don't get a large bite of it in anything. Or you want to leave it in a big chunk that you can take out later. So you avoid eating it. I'm going to use that method. I'm going to cut this up a little bit so that it is in a few pieces, but they're going to be big pieces that I'll fish out after they've released their flavor. Some big hunks like that. As for the pork, if you want it to brown up really nice, what you want to do is use a paper towel to dry the cutlets of pork. Get as much moisture out of them as possible. If they are left as they come out of the package, they will have too much moisture and they won't come out nice and crispy. This is an optional step, but I like my pork to be nice and crispy. So I'm going to wrap it like this, and then you can feel how the pork has gotten much clammier, more like skin or something than it was when it was really wet. And you can see on the paper towel. Then I'm going to cut it up into little strips. This is very thin, so I'm going to cut it lengthwise first. Into small little bites. And this is very lean, so I'm going to leave all of the fat there. If you had any really big pieces of fat, then you should probably take those off because they will not fry up very well. Alright, on to the next thing. The carrots we want to be very small. This is actually a very big piece of carrot for this. So I'm just going to cut it into little matchsticks. Cutting it in half so you have a flat piece on the bottom, and then slicing it into small little slivers. Then you have flat pieces, cutting them again into little matchsticks. And once you have matchsticks, cutting them lengthwise should be really easy to just get little chunks of carrot. And now that is enough carrot. So I've used maybe a 1/16 of a carrot. Just a little bit gives it a nice little flavor and helps your eyes out. Garlic wise, I always like my garlic sliced up into little slivers, and because I like to eat garlic. But if you don't like garlic, you can use a garlic press. to make it into really, really small pieces. If you don't have a garlic press, take the side of the knife, push it down on the cutting board, and you'll smash the garlic into a little paste like this. Then cut it into small pieces, lengthwise, and then around, and you'll get very, very, very small little mushed pieces that'll dissolve as best you can. A garlic press would be better, but garlic presses are annoying if you don't have them, and are really annoying to clean. The other vegetables, the onion I'm just going to cut into little slivers, and the potato I'm going to cut into chunks. Some of the other vegetables, not that important. So I'll just show you how to cut the kimchi. Now, my kimchi is really old, really strong smelling. As kimchi ages, it gets a little sour, and after a while you don't want to eat it straight. You only want to eat it in some sort of cooked form. Alright, I've cut up everything else. Now for the kimchi. Now the kimchi is going to be really messy. You want to cut it up into small pieces. Mine's already in small pieces, yours might not be. But you may also want to separate it a bit. The big thick pieces, like this, that are closer towards the stalk, need to be cooked longer than the small little bits. If you cut up a large piece of kimchi, it's very easy to separate down one end from the other. If you have any big pieces, they need to be cooked longer, and they'll be added before the other pieces. Other than that, everything else is all ready, and so now we're going to start cooking. Okay, going to start out with high heat, and going to add a little bit of oil, depending on how greasy you want something and how fatty your pork is, but I don't think you need that much. Enough to coat the bottom of the pan, but it's relatively easy. First thing that we're going to add is the ginger, and we're going to cook this hard and fast to get the flavor out of it, and then we're going to remove it as we start cooking the pork. Next thing we want to add is the pork. Throwing that in. We still want to keep it on high heat. We want this pork to really sear a bit. We want it to be crunchy and crispy. Stirring it around so it doesn't stick too much. But the pieces that you can see are really starting to brown nicely. Those brown bits taste good. Alright, now all the pink is gone just about, but we still want to keep going because we want these pieces to brown. Try and keep stuff off the bottom of the pan because we don't want anything black. Black tastes bitter, brown tastes good. Things are starting to brown nicely. They're getting a lot of color. It's good. Alright, now they're brown. We're going to turn the heat down to medium or low. We're going to fish out these pieces of ginger. I'm going to get a fork to fish them out. We do not want to eat these pieces of ginger. They've given up their flavor, and now all they are is just empty husks. Next thing we're going to add is the carrots and the garlic, and quickly let them fry up a bit. They'll gain a little bit of browning too. but it won't take very long. You just don't want the carrots to be too crispy or the garlic to be too raw, so we want to cook them a bit before we add the kimchi, because the kimchi is going to release a lot of water, and once that water's there, you won't be able to brown anything. So everything that you wanted to brown, you want to do before you add the kimchi. Alright, now going to turn the heat up to high again, and then we're going to add the kimchi. And cutting board's going to be a bit of a mess. Try not to get yourself too much color on you. Stirring this around, getting the pork fat into the kimchi. Turning the heat up again. Not so that this is really going to burn, but because now we've got so much in the pan, you need more heat to get it to actually cook.